Hey everyone, thanks for joining. We are just going to wait for our lovely guy Mike and the guys over at OORT, and then we'll kick off this one. And he's here already. Hey Mike, can you hear me?
Well, good evening, Sam. How are you tonight?
All good. How are you?
I'm excellent. Really, really good. Looking forward to this discussion. So I think we'll just look at getting the Orc guys up on stage, shall we?
Everyone.
Yes, sir. I think,
There we go.
yep, they're on stage.
This is Mike. Can you hear me?
Yes, we've got you perfectly. Great,
Lovely.
great to
Yes,
see you.
sir. Loud and clear.
Right.
We're just going to wait for a minute or two for everyone else to join, and until that, I'm just gonna give an opening statement if you guys don't mind. So, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it's your place. Welcome to episode 9 of X Talk. We have our lovely OOT project. Hopefully, I am pronouncing it right and not butchering it off. Um,
It's OORT. OORT.
OOT. Yeah, sorry about that.
No worries.
OOT. Yeah. Yeah. And I have some great news to share with you guys. So the first thing is that we are extending the date of our 500k Layer 1x airdrop giveaway tokens, and it's extended up to the 25th of this month. The You can participate by buying 500 L1x tokens or buying a username, whichever ones. And we also have giveaways of 10k L1X tokens, and that's going to run daily. So make sure you guys get your tokens as well as a username. Mike, do you want to give an opening statement?
Indeed, yeah. So, good evening and good morning and good afternoon, wherever you go, wherever you our listeners are in the world. I think this is going to be a really interesting discussion tonight. For those that don't really know, and I'm assuming correctly, and please let me know, guys, if it's wrong. But OORT actually comes from basically from space. So I think it was an astronomer, John OORT, proposed that certain comets come from a vast, extremely distant shell of icy bodies surrounding our solar system. So it's really about the cloud itself, the Oort cloud, um, is actually probably a pretty good name for you guys. Probably, maybe we can start this off by, if you want to give us a little bit of a background, introduce yourselves. Tell our listeners a little bit about a little bit about Oort, about yourself, and maybe where the name came from. Is it correct to say that it was from the Oort cloud?
Yes, lovely. Mike, I am Mike too. So Mike Robinson here. I'm the chairman for OORT's Foundation, and I'm the only one here today. As we do this call, this space is OORT is actually doing its TGE on BitGet and Gate. So the launch is taking place right now, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I am delighted to be here. Nonetheless, my background, I have been in large international infrastructure financing, more so on the macro research side of things. Um, that's what took me into just Bitcoin in 2015. I was doing some research on monetary policy from the Fed Reserve and saw Bitcoin as a solution to what was taking place. So started acquiring Bitcoin in early 2016, around 200 to $250 per, and became that crazy person evangelizing about Bitcoin to everyone in my inner circle and in proxy. Nonetheless, that led me into the VC space. I'm also a co-founder of Avis Lear, co-founder partner. Avis Lear is a early stage Web3 VC. OORT is one of our portfolio companies, and I was approached by Dr. Lee and Dr. Yang, the founders of OORT, to chair the foundation, and I gleefully accepted. Now, OORT is a breakthrough research project from Columbia University. Uh, Dr. Lee and Dr. Yang have been working on this since 2018, 2019, with world renowned scientists. And after the lockdowns of 2020, a few breakthroughs took place, one being the patent that we received, and the need moving forward for an OORT like technology for the metaverse and what I would call the technologification of society, which has been expedited ever since 2020. Nonetheless, we are here. I'm delighted to be here and look forward to more collaborations with Layer 1X.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that introduction. And just to throw some question out there, the name OORT does that actually stem from the
OORT yes,
the OORT
that's
name?
correct.
Right, brilliant.
But
okay.
for us, it's more about pushing the boundaries of technology.
Oh, totally. And that's actually what we love at Layer 1X, because we're doing exactly the same thing. We're pushing the boundaries around that, the interoperability, the decentralization, the scalability, and the security. And within all of that comes a need for a decentralized data cloud platform. So on that note, how do you see, and how can you describe that, how OORT specifically ensures the privacy within within your decentralized data cloud solution, and how do you secure user data? How do you safeguard it?
Okay, so we are actually built on a 3-tier infrastructure. So we have our super nodes, which are our large data centers. Then we also have the local nodes, which are our Deimos devices that any community member can participate in. It actually helps with storing up to 1 terabyte of data while mining our coin. And third, we also have our backup nodes, which are an aggregation of the first movers in the decentralized storage space, your Crust, Chia, Storage J, and so on, all under one roof. So we have this 3-tiered infrastructure that is also the Reed-Solomon erasure code is also baked into. So essentially, you only need 1/3 of our infra to be up for you to be able to pull your data. I think most importantly, what we have been focused on is distributing our network. We're actually a DPIN, a decentralized physical infrastructure network, i.e., our Deimos devices. And there's more to come with that as well. But more so, we've been hyper focused on getting our network distributed so we can facilitate a decentralized experience. Our blockchain just went live on November 27th, just after Thanksgiving. And now users will be able to participate in our ecosystem with our coin, which now officially goes live today.
Fantastic. It's actually really good to see a decentralized data cloud solution. I've done a lot of work in my history around centralized data. So sitting in those data centers, whether that's across government or corporate. And one of the big problems that we see there is that centralization causes major issues around, because it's centralized. It's actually an attack vector for hackers. You've got the costs associated with all of that storage, the large data centers. How do you see that? Can you describe to our listeners how what the benefits that actually come from that decentralized cloud?
Well, yeah, especially for Web3 or crypto, a lot of our infrastructure or I would say, projects that are launching in Web3 are also being built on Amazon and, all the other centralized hyperscalers. So we are solving that, bringing to the market a decentralized, low cost solution that Web3 users, developers, founders can start iterating on, and we can finally start fleshing out the network. Essentially, the Web3 ecosystem, right? We want to play a huge role in that, making our infrastructure one that is reliable, um, one that Web3 developers and founders can depend on. We've seen in many cases, if you've mentioned before, hacks that's taken place on the centralized hyperscaler ecosystem. And we're working very hard to solve that with our product, our solution.
Fantastic. Thanks for the answer there. And we've had the same question posed to us, but when people hear that it's going to be cheaper to operate, people generally the first thing that hits their head is that, well, it's cheaper, so therefore it's it's got to be less secure. What's your thoughts on that?
I think there can be trade-offs in, at times. We've been focused on making sure that there are no trade-offs on our build out. So we've attached some of the you would call them, Ivy League schools in the U.S. As our research partners, and also across the world, and also working with world-renowned scientists to try to ensure that we reduce any kind of trade-offs. We believe our infrastructure is more than prepared to actually facilitate this without trade-offs. However, now we're about to really be stress tested after the launch of our TGE. So this is going to be, very exciting. We're looking forward to what's going to be taking place, the next phase, right, of OORT. So today is a milestone day. We're going to be working with our research department and just making sure that we can reassure that there are no trade-offs or minimize those trade-offs with our blockchain.
And that's exactly what we like to hear, that's for sure. And if I go back to some of my history, and I'm probably showing a little bit of age here, but when organizations go across to a cloud data center and move in, they normally have some discussions around the reliability and the uptime, and they talk about things like we want 5 nines. So in other words, what that means for the listeners is that they have 99.999% availability, and as you go up in the number of nines in there, the cost actually increases. Given that you're decentralized, I would expect that to be the number of nines that you're making available is actually going to be pretty high. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. And obviously, there'll be a cost associated with the more nines, but I think given that your costs will be lower than traditional cloud hosting solutions like Amazon or AWS, it's a good thing.
Well, and that's why our community members will be playing a pivotal role in our network as we distribute our Deimos devices and essentially our mining network.
Yep. Now, also, one of the capabilities that Layer 1X has and is able to provide is around providing not just the public L1X network, but also private and hybrid. And what I mean by private is it could be a corporate or a government might want to utilize it. Do you have that same capability with OORT?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure. So Layer 1X, for example, we've got our public network, but we're also able to implement a private network, so a private blockchain for a corporate or a government, or even a hybrid where it allows one-way connectivity.
Gotcha. No, so at OORT, it's public.
Okay.
It's only public.
Right. And would you have the ability to host, say, for example, government services or government data?
Well, we have been approached by government entities, and we're actually looking at how we can facilitate their requests. So that would be a solution that we can provide, but currently the network is public, so anyone can go ahead and use it. It's going to be transparent. But yeah, in an intranet kind of manner, the possibility is there.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you. And what motivated the decision for you to design OORT as a decentralized platform? Where did the thinking come from? And you touched on it earlier on, but maybe to focus on that a little bit. And
Yeah.
how does that contribute to its to your overall mission or your vision?
Well, I mean, you take a look at the crypto space, right? Bitcoin, which I'm a true proponent in, and Ethereum. A lot of the nodes are spun up on hyperscalers. And we really believe in this vision, Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're actually trying to democratize data the way Bitcoin democratized traditional finance. So we would need a decentralized approach to this ecosystem that we're building called Web3. And that was one of our main reasons for doing so. You take a look at data right now. Data, some are saying, are the equivalent of oil. Uh, a lot of the Web 2 models have captured most of our data. So users are using this website. They don't know where their data is being going or being siphoned to, but they have no clue that they are actually the product, and we want to change that and create an equitable approach between the user and also the institution, and have our users now be able to own their own data. So we thought that was a necessary way forward into this new technology age, and that's what we've been working on.
Fantastic. And your comment about users owning their own data is absolutely spot on with our vision. And that's one of the capabilities and solutions that we're currently working through, is how to actually give the users back control of their own data, to own it. Introducing our wallet, we've got the space cards in there where people can create their own areas and decide on what data they want to share with whom and how much. And a very simple explanation of that for those that are listening is, imagine a real simple version that somebody went to an event and they needed to identify that they're over 18 years old. The person should be able to do that from their digital identity without actually revealing their date of birth. Yes, they are over 18. That's all that the event needs to know, and that's a very simple explanation of it. But where you're able to control that data, where you're able to bring your websites onto Web3 and have them decentralized, but you might also have a component in there that requires extensive data storage, and that's where something like OORT comes in to be able to provide all of that.
Exactly.
So yeah. So can you describe to us how OORT actually leverages the global compute and storage resources? So you mentioned before about the data centers, your supernodes.
Mhm.
How do they figure into it for storage?
Well, and we're still growing that. So we have a very good partnership with Tencent Cloud and also Ali Cloud. You'll be seeing a little bit more about that down the pike. So we are distributing our resources across the world through the super nodes and then the local nodes as well. The more distribution, the better it is. It helps us with decentralization. And essentially, our goal is to just continue to build on that infrastructure so that we can have this reliable network that people can trust and continue to use. It's going to take some time as we continue to expand. Our OORT compute will be going live in Q3 of 2024. And once live, I'll be able to spill a little bit more on our approach.
Okay. And for those that don't understand, decentralized compute really means that you're leveraging the power of those the machines that are sitting in data centers around the world to be able to process your data. I was actually working for JP Morgan in London, and they had a massive data center down in the South England on the coast. and just massive compute platforms sitting in there that would actually do a lot of their back end work. I won't go into the detail of that, but really, what you're proposing here, Mike, is being able to utilise the global compute, and not just the fact that you can utilise it. You can actually dial it up on demand. So, if your solution requires a large amount of processing power one day a week or 1 week a month, you're able to dial that into your solution to compute much faster instead of just relying on a few little servers. By utilizing that compute power, you can increase the processing capability. Is that correct in what you'll be providing?
Absolutely. And Hyperscaler actually reached out to us in partnership to actually build out a mandate specific to this. Yes.
Okay.
So we've been pretty hush on our approach, but yes.
Excellent. Yeah. Now, I know you're going to have a fair amount of what we call at Low-NX our secret sauce. There's certain components in there that are your magic. And is there any insights that you can actually give us around the technology stack that powers OORT, and really how those features set it apart from traditional cloud data solutions?
Well, yeah. So, as a startup, we've taken a non-adversarial approach. Essentially, we are working with the institutions, and then we're also bringing in the global community as well, right? All under one roof. We are also working with Web3 decentralized clouds, first movers in the space. We've aggregated them under our umbrella, and essentially it just makes for a resilient network. Our goal is to, what we believe is that Web 2 is going to help facilitate the mass adoption for Web 3. So we've secured some real strong partnerships uh, in Dell, and as I mentioned, Tencent, Ali Cloud, and also Lenovo Image. So bringing them over to the Web3 space is going to be huge for everyone in the space, and also brings massive validation. So what they're able to use on our network is actually going to help facilitate this future of Web3. And with our secret sauce that we've baked into OORT AI, OORT storage, and in the coming months, you'll see OORT compute. I think this is going to be huge for the ecosystem, because we're going to be one of the first to start generating revenue in the space, especially with these monolithic partnerships. Um, but yeah, on the secret sauce side of things, um, we have some really strong Ivy League schools that we're working with on a global scale, and also world renowned scientists that are helping us push this OORT cloud to the next level.
Fantastic. No, thank you for that overview. Do you have any real world? So you've mentioned just before Dell, Tencent, Lenovo. So can you give us an idea of how? So those real world use cases. So
Mhm.
how would these organisations use it, and also how have they been when you've first started talking to them about decentralising their data?
Oh man, imagine, these are monolithic companies, so
Yep.
the conversation took months,
Yep.
and our launch took months. But nonetheless, you face a lot of bureaucracy until finally, it's a go. We're partnering with, or have partnered with Dell, specifically their loyalty program. So we are the first Web3 offering to over 10 million small, medium enterprise partners at Dell. We get to keep 100% of the revenues that's generated. On the Lenovo Image side, we launched our OORT AI in October of 2023. Lenovo was facing high call center costs at $5 per call, and our OORT AI actually helps to reduce that. This is going to be a rev share opportunity. We've so far helped 12,000 clients with a 90% accuracy rate, and that was in beta. So we're just refining the model to discover what the rev share opportunity is going to look like. And yeah, those are the two rev sharing partnerships that we have so far. Um, OORT AI is our factually accurate AI, which is very cool. And we also have our OORT storage, which is the partnership with Dell. And these clients of Dell, their partners would be able to utilize our services for the privacy and the cost savings instead of utilizing a hyperscaler.
Yep. And out of curiosity, you mentioned 4 or 5, the sort of $5 a call. What sort of ability have you got to be able to reduce those costs down?
Well, so basically, with our OORT AI, it's factually accurate. So essentially, you just load your information into or data into the agent, and it will just answer whatever the question is. If it doesn't know, it will say it doesn't know, instead of doing what AI is known for doing, which is just going off on its own tangent. And so far, we've been able to program and refine that approach. So these call center clients, um, they've been very happy with the service. It's very simple.
Fantastic, yeah. So how does OORT approach user control and ownership of the data? And now knowing a lot of these organizations like AWS and Microsoft, they actually have some fairly significant capabilities in there around user control and ownership of data. How do you ensure that those users have the autonomy over their information, or the corporates?
So we give two options, right? You can sign into your account with Google, and then also you can use your Ale wallet, which has your 12 phrase keys to actually connect to our services. And once you're using the Ale wallet, all the data that you're utilizing, the user gets all control over um, their data once they use our Ale wallet, because it's all attached to our 12 phrase keys or their specific 12 phrase keys.
And that introduces quite a significant level of security that hasn't really been seen before, which is fantastic.
Right. We're very excited.
Absolutely. Now, I'm going to focus a little bit now on interoperability and how does OORT actually envision collaboration with other Web3 projects, and what role does interoperability play in enhancing OORT's capabilities?
Well, we believe we can't do this alone, right? This is a behemoth of a lift. Partnerships with Web3 companies are a necessity. And we can focus on our expertise, but then there are other Web3 companies and products that do their expertise better than we can, right? So our goal is to just continue to build out our ecosystem by partnering with strong quality brands, founders, developers. Um, we are EVM compatible, and by proxy, that's also Binance compatible as well. So, interoperability is going to be key to facilitate this future that we all see. I'm really big on the WAGMI. We're all going to make it. I think if one makes it, we can bring it, it actually solidifies the ecosystem, right? And we can bring every one that is, really working on a solid project up together into this in this space. I'm actually excited about the Bitcoin ETF because that was a huge validation for our market. I would say it's bittersweet. I'm excited, though I'm not. Um, but it also validates our market, right? You saw after 2022, there was a massive downturn in our market where 20,000 companies just basically died. And then blue chip companies that we all know that became like household names also died. So I believe a lot of the tourists are now out of the market, and builders have been like focused head down, just building from 2022 on to 2024. I think the future is theirs, it's ours, and we're looking to collaborate with companies that still believe in crypto and blockchain and the future of decentralization. Interoperability is going to be key because that's going to help with onboarding new users, new products, great minds, and yeah, the future is going to be Web3 founders collaborating together for us all to make it.
And that's exactly what we envision as well. I think seeing those the various Web3 companies, and we've spoken to a lot of them over the last few years, and that collaboration comes through very clearly. Instead of seeing the competition that you get with all of the larger ones that really wipe them out, it's about bringing that it's the decentralized ownership. It's bringing together those capabilities, the great minds that have those solutions, and helping each other to build and work to a better future. So now, from your point of view with interoperability, are there any? So obviously you mentioned ETH, you mentioned BSC.
Yes.
Yep. Are they the only real ones? What about the non-ETH? Have you got any plans in that area?
Yeah, we do. Those are what we're launching with. So that is what we're starting with. We do plan on expanding. Of course, we're going to be looking, or I should say, just watching the market to see which projects rise, which projects continue to build. We're already in contact together, Layer 1X and OORT. Yeah, we are very deliberate about this approach. As you've seen, like in the past, interoperability is key, but then it can also bring a hack, right, with a bridge, right? So we're definitely looking at how to approach this in the right manner to make sure that it's always going to be a win-win for each company that we bring into our ecosystem. And our goal is to actually, onboard our users over to the company that we partner with. For instance, Layer 1X, right? Um, as we continue this conversation, I believe that there's massive opportunities moving forward. It's not just specific to ETH or BSC, but we're watching the market as it develops. Bitcoin as well. I'm keeping my eyes on that. There's a lot of activity on Bitcoin because of ordinals, and now you're looking at layer twos being launched on Bitcoin and drive chains. So I think opportunities abound for interoperability.
I totally agree. And we're actually working through at the moment a solution around integrating Bitcoin onto the Layer 1X network, and that's going to be quite huge. Something that nobody else has been able to achieve. And
Right.
yeah, it's been really good to we've had some conversations already, but with your team, but it's really good to get you on the call to discuss this. Now, can you just discuss any ongoing or future initiatives within the Web3 ecosystem? You've actually mentioned a few already. You've talked about Dell and Tencent and Lenovo. Are there any others that you're actually working on?
Yeah, as I mentioned,
that you're able to share?
I can't really tell much about it, but we did secure a. Let's just say we've been having ongoing conversations with a hyperscaler that's given us a mandate with regards to geolocation of compute and storage. So we plan to launch our OORT compute Q3, Q4 of 2024. And I think that is going to be an apex moment.
Fantastic. I'm certainly looking forward to that one. I know for any of those out there, the geeks that work in this industry, that sort of solution has just been the thing that's been lacking for so long.
Right.
That true decentralized compute, rather than and yes, okay, AWS can provide you with additional compute power, but at cost. And being able to reduce those costs and actually provide them with that global capability is absolutely huge. Mike, is there anything else that you want to add for our listeners about OORT that we haven't really covered off tonight?
Well, I just wanted to say, first off, I do appreciate the platform. Thank you all for showing up tonight, this morning. It's 5 a.m. here where I am in
Oh,
Utah.
wow.
I know. So, pardon me if I'm a bit off, but nonetheless, we've been working on this project for over 3 years now. I mean, we went from initially the name was Compute Coin to finally Dr. Lee, the founder, he's like infatuated with space. OORT was the one that stuck. Um, Things have just been really moving in the positive and right direction. The partnerships that we have are currently in discussions with really makes me excited. We just passed or crossed two milestones. November 27th, our chain went live, Olympus Protocol, and today uh, I'm getting a lot of notifications while I'm having this call because our TGE just went live when this call started.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I know, right? We launched on Gate.io and BitGet, and I'm getting like these notifications from CoinGecko about the price of the coin. So,
I better let you go then to deal with that. So, Mike, it's been absolutely fantastic having you on the call here tonight for our listeners. Thank you so much. And we look forward to some further collaboration around interoperability and seeing how we can benefit one another.
Thank you, Mike. We appreciate the platform and we look forward to the potential collaboration.
Absolutely.
Thanks to discuss.
Right. Take care and good luck on with how things move forward to today onwards.
Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Ciao.
Bye-bye. All right. Well, listeners, thank you for listening in. I'll pass over to Sam now, and I think there's some great discussions around the future of computing in the world to start seeing decentralized cloud solutions coming out there, such as OORT. We've had some conversations before with them, and it is a fantastic project. They've got some fantastic individuals, some really, really intelligent people that are actually working on this on the back end.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think I'm very excited for the future of Layer 1x as well as OORT. And I think for an ending statement, I would just like to remind our community members that we do have a lot of competitions and campaigns running where you can basically win huge prizes, all paid out in L1x tokens. We have invite competition, task on campaigns, activity comp, Zilly, and much more. So if you aren't in our Discord yet, now is the right time to do it. And that's it. Thank you everyone jumping in. See you all in the next episode of X Talks. Bye bye.
Thanks, Sam.
Bye bye.